Had some cool stuff I just wanted to show because I got some navigation stuff working. I've been working on it for a little bit. These guys are actually navigating around other units in the game now as opposed to just running through them. That's pretty cool. So even though they're kind of detecting when there's a unit in the way of their path and running around them, there's another check in there that allows them to kind of form trains like in the base or original game. So like this. So there's a check there. Basically, if the unit in front is also moving in the same direction and their speed is at least as fast as their own speed, they'll form a nice little train like that. So that's cool. For this next part, it might be easier if I turn on debug lines. Let me do that. So this will show you the actual navigation path that they're choosing with these little red lines and squares here. So there's another little thing I got working here. If I put this guy down here, if I navigate him here and then put this guy in the way, you see that he's actually making another path live there. Mid-navigation, he rerouted around because that tank wasn't there originally when he first started moving, and then it got in the way, and then he goes around us. So we'll do that again. I'm gonna put that guy there. So again, he's moving, put him in a way, and he goes around. So that's kind of cool. Actually, when I was figuring that out, I ran into some other bug that I fixed. Basically, or if two units were navigating towards each other, they would basically get deadlocked waiting for the other one to move. But now they actually, well, that didn't work. But now they actually move around each other. So if I do this and that, so you see there's a little bit of a pause there, but then they realized that the other navigating unit wasn't going to move, so they decided to reroute there. And then, yeah, there's another thing here. So if I navigate to any place with this tank and then have this guy steal his spot, he'll just give up. So that's pretty normal. And then, so there's other cool stuff here. If I have these guys join like a bigger formation of these other tanks. So basically the units will try and keep the formation that they started in. I'm going to turn off these debug lines. They're a little ugly now. So this is kind of the same in the original game. You know, if you have tanks like this, they'll stay in formation. There's a little bit of randomness in the original game too, I think, in the way tanks kind of figure out how to navigate around, or vehicles in general, navigate around other vehicles. There's a little bit of clipping there going on. Probably got to figure that out. But sometimes I think, yeah, those rocks, they're not marked as solid yet in my navigation map. That's really easy to fix. I'm focusing on the hard stuff. Okay. The navigation, when there's all in a formation like this, is a little too perfect. I almost wonder if I need to introduce some randomness to make it look a little messier, because it almost feels robotic. One of the things this definitely needs to change is you can see when it does turns. If I start this tank here and bring it up towards here, and when it's turning around like that, or making turns like that, it first rotates in the same square without moving, and then once it's rotated towards the direction it needs to go, that's when it starts moving. Whereas actually in the base game, it's a little bit smoother looking. I can actually show that too. I'll load up a game really quick. I actually have one loaded. So the first turn it makes is always going to be in the same square, but then as it moves, and some of the turns it makes will be while moving, like that one right there. See another one here. See, it's moving while turning, moving while turning. That one was turning in place, so there's some kind of logic I don't understand. Sometimes it'll turn in place, other times it'll move and turn. Yeah, and then the other thing I need to work on next, I need to. So this formation is cool. This is working. They stay in formation. That's great. But there's a limitation because, like, if I have, let's take these 3 tanks and maybe spread them out a little bit. They're actually just staying in formation like this. So you can see they kind of stay the same distance apart from each other. Whereas I really need to have them, if they're spread apart like this, they need to group up. So that's, yeah, I need to work on that next. So I'll see if I can figure that out. All right, I think I figured this out. So basically, I've got it. So when you select a group of units now, it's going to first try to find the anchor unit, which is the unit that's closest to the center of the average position of the units you have selected. So that would be this guy. By the way, do you like the little white outline I put on here when you hover over these tanks? It's kind of cool, right? Anyway, so this will be the anchor unit. And so when you give these 3 a move command, like say if I put it right on this corner, this concrete here, it's going to give the anchor unit that exact position, and then it's going to try and squeeze the other units in as close as possible to it. So that unit goes there, and then it squeezes these 2 in next to it. And so then if you have something like this, where these 2 are already in sort of formation next to each other, these 2 should stay next to each other as they navigate, and then this one should try and squeeze in to wherever the final destination is. So if I move them here, these 2 kind of stay in the same orientation with each other, and then this one squeezed in. And it should still work with a larger group. Get the 9 tanks here again in a big square. So these guys still all move nicely together as a train. So that still works. And then if I put a couple kind of off to the side like that and then move them all as a group, they should try and group up. So these guys try to go to the same spot, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. Do one more of those. Oops. We've got some bug there with the selection. Wow, seemed like my right click was held down every time I tried to select there. Don't know what that was. Game development's fun, isn't it? Let's try that one more time. Let's put a couple of units out separated and try and group them up. So there you go. Look at that. How fancy. Anyway, see ya!